It is a well-known fact that racial tensions were high in the 60s during the time of desegregation. Preaching acts of peace and nonviolence, people like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King were all influential people during this time. Racism was alive and well all over the U.S., and locally things like the Truce Divide and discrimination in general kept black people from being treated as equals. As racial issues strengthened, the spirits of African Americans became strained. The final straw for them was this.
In color, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite and Russ Hodge in Memphis, Tennessee, Dan Rather in New York, Bernard Kalb in Saigon, Marvin Kalb in Wellington, New Zealand, and Bert Quint in Quezon, South Vietnam.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, 39 years old and a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and the leader of the nonviolent civil rights movement in the United States, was assassinated in Memphis tonight.
On April 4th, 1968, the beloved leader, Martin Luther King Jr., was fatally shot on the outside balcony of his room at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. King's assassination sent shockwaves throughout the country, and people across the U.S. gathered together to protest in hopes to obtain justice for his wrongful death. Following the murder of Martin Luther King, over 200 urban disorders broke out, with 43 deaths and damages estimated at nearly $58 million, according to It Finally Happened Here, the 1968 riot in Kansas City, Missouri, by Joel P. Rhodes. Here at home, students mourn the loss of someone special to their hearts. In order to pay tribute, students in Kansas were given April 9th, the day of King's funeral, to grieve. The night before MLK's funeral, public schools across the metro area met and decided that schools were to remain open.
So there's 3 black males that were called to this meeting that Monday evening, the 8th of April. At that meeting, about half a dozen plus white males, and Hasley was on the phone. They didn't have speakerphones and all that back there. And the question was whether or not the Kansas City school ought to be open then that following Tuesday, the 9th of April. The 3 of us said, don't open it. Don't open the schools. And the reason why was because Kansas City, Kansas had already declared that their schools would be closed. The other thing was that the kids, why not give the kids in Kansas City the same kind of opportunity to be in Memorial wherever they wanted to be, or stay at home or whatever, but encourage them to participate in some memorial service for I think, Dr. King.
Over 300 students from Lincoln Central and other schools gathered together near City Hall. The protest these teenagers established remained peaceful until a soda can was thrown into the police circle. Police on standby mistook this harmless item as a threat.
While we were waiting for the bus, and as John L. had announced what was going to happen in terms of Holy Name would be open and kids could come out there if they wanted to, someone threw a Coke bottle at the foot of a police officer at 12th and Oak. Never hit anyone, and that's when the tear gas started.
Protesters ran every which way trying to escape. In an interview with an anonymous student participant, it is said that he didn't even see a pop bottle thrown and that the police released the tear gas for no reason.
All the kids got off running and coughing.
Holy Name Catholic Church was opened up for a student dance to aid the students seeking refuge from the protests turned violent.
And at that time, the police had followed the kids out there and threw tear gas into the basement of the church. And the kids were laying all out on the street, on the lawn and everything. And the police officers were back, and they were taunting the police officers, this kind of thing. So we went inside with handkerchiefs over our eyes and nostrils, and you can see the canister of tear gas inside the church. Well, that kicked off everything. And that evening is when burning started.
Heartbroken, feeling defeated, and upset by the actions of the KCPD, protesters took to vandalizing, looting, and setting fire to white-owned businesses surrounding KC. Things grew way out of hand, with fires burning buildings nearly to the ground, and people being arrested and injured seemingly every few minutes. At exactly 5:20 p.m., Mayor Davis declared a state of emergency. National Guards arrived to help keep order as well. In the midst of all this chaos, there were 44 people injured, more than 100 arrests to residents, and nearly $29 million in today's value in damages.
And at the end of the week, there were 6 black men were killed. One was a 15-year-old Mackenzie and his dad.
The assassination of MLK, the protests and the riots that all followed helped shape society today. It is easy to see the traces that impactful times like this brought on today's world.
And now, I think that the youth right now are getting what we had to learn. With Ferguson and all the police killings, it's coming to the forefront again, so we can't give up the fight.
Right. It's undeniable that America has a lot of work to do regarding racial relations, but brave activists and peaceful protesters help pave the way and continue to influence people wanting to make a difference.
Has now set the stage for another kind of a revolution. And when I say revolution, I don't mean take arms, I mean revolution of the mind, that this is not what America is all about.